Hello and welcome. You're watching Money, Money, Money. I'm Sumera Abdi. Now, we've had some time to digest the budget fine print. Overall, the budget is being called fairly positive and directionally positive as well. But what about people like you and me? Are there any announcements in the budget? Well, there were few. So, tax slabs have not been changed. There's a higher service tax, which has pretty much taken the sheen off of the enhanced NPS deduction, medical insurance premium, as well as the higher transport allowance limits. So, what does this budget mean for people like you and me? Will life change dramatically, and how best can individual taxpayers benefit? That's the question that we'll be asking our guest today, Gaurav Mashruwala. Gaurav, thanks very much for joining in. How did you read the budget? I mean, everyone wanted some more changes to be announced to the tax slabs, but he's already done it 9 months back. Was it too soon to expect this?
That's number one. And if I recall correctly, and I'm not too very sure, and I wanted to go and listen to his interim budget speech last year, where he said that don't expect changes to happen. That's why I'm giving you a quantum jump. So 1 lakh to 1,50,000 ATC is a 50% jump, which hasn't happened in past. So probably he's saying that, look, don't keep expecting every year. Also, in this speech, he said that I want to give more, but if I have more money in coffers, I'll give it away. If I don't have it, which means please be tax compliant, pay your legitimate taxes. If I have it, I'll give it. If I don't, whatever best I can give, I'll give it to you. So he hasn't given much except few things.
You know, even those few things, like take the transport allowance, for instance, or take the medical insurance premium, the demand was for it to be made or at least brought up to realistic levels. You think these levels are realistic?
So as far as transport allowance is concerned, you can probably go to work in Meru cab now, maximum. Beyond that or whatever.
For one day?
Yeah, probably. But there are a couple of these allowances which I feel that at some point of time they should knock it off. So this transport allowance doubling, yes, it is, but I don't know how many people really claim that. Similarly, there's something called as education allowance, up to a one child, 100 rupees a month, a hostel. So those aren't making a lot of senses. That has to go. As far as medical premium is concerned, the section 80D, where it's a jump. While we know that the health insurance costs have gone up and medical treatment costs have gone up, 10,000 more will get you some more insurance premium. And I've always been telling people that instead of paying taxes, pay for your premium. So to that extent, it makes sense. Another thing that I liked in the other section is that for very senior citizen, if you're not getting medical policy, you can use this amount for your treatment because they weren't even getting medical. So to that extent, yes, few things. We always want the moon, but for time being, let's live on planet Earth.
That's true, actually. I mean, that's a good point. But, you know, when I was listening to the FM's interview later, he said his reason for not increasing the tax slabs was also that he doesn't want to create a consumption society. In the same budget, though, he has given incentives for the use of debit or credit card. Won't that, in a way, create that vicious circle of consumption?
So, well, I really pray that what he expects is the way citizens behave, because if it's just a debit card, then I do understand and accept that if I have to make a cash payment vis-a-vis if I have to just use a plastic, I'm kind of little bit more induced and inclined to use a plastic and make that additional payment, while if it's cash, it pinches. At the same time, his thought processes, and that's what he stated in his speech, that a lot of black money transactions will stop. So we hope that what he is expecting comes through and what you and me think does not happen, because otherwise paying by plastic, people always, in fact that's the reason plastic cards were invented, saying that, you know, it's an impulsive purchase, even if you don't have money you end up spending. So I hope it doesn't take that route.
Okay, but the other flip side to this is that he has raised the service tax. So while I may be more inclined or incentivized to use my debit or credit card, will people actually be using it? Because the service tax has gone up. There's a Swachh Bharat cess, so effective, you know, a lot of people are saying that perhaps the service tax would be at 16%.
No, so which I need to check again, because cess is always the percentage of the, so if it's 14%, it's not 14% plus 2%, it's 2% of 14%. So according to me, it should be 14.28%. Let's see when the final clearance comes in. So whenever there is cess or what surcharge or whatever, it's the percentage of the overall percentage. That's number one. Will people really stop spending money because there is increase in service tax or surcharge? My answer is no. I don't think people will stop their vacations or going to restaurant or going to movies just because there is an increase. So that people will continue doing it. There is a service tax increase. I'm not sure next year at what rate GST will come in, and is it kind of trying to slowly align to GST rate so there is no quantum jump. But that's more of my thinking than the reality. So I hope it will not be 16, it will be 14.28. I don't think people will stop spending money, and I probably feel it's more aligning to GST than anything.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because a lot of people have indicated that perhaps this is the first step in aligning the rates to GST. But he's also announced a single redressal system. How effective is that going to be, and what will it mean for small investors?
So I really appreciate that, because right now, even if you have a problem only with banking or only if it's a SEBI issue, then also you have certain levels, level 1, so there is an ombudsman and there are procedures, and then if it's kind of inter-regulator, there is a problem. So if they are saying that there is going to be a single regulator, there is going to be a single redressal mechanism, that's really helpful, which also means at some point of time we can have a single regulator or a super regulator. There is also announcement of SEBI and FMC merging. So if we have a situation where an investor doesn't have to go pillar to post, because say corporate FD, now if corporate is defaulting, there's so many places that you have to go before you get your money. It takes such a long time. If it comes under single umbrella, we hope that this entire redressal mechanism is much faster and investor doesn't have to go from pillar to post. So I really appreciate
what my concern is that the timeline this would take to get implemented, because in the last budget he announced a uniform KYC, but all details were absent in this budget. So we don't know how that has moved, how long it's going to take to be implemented. So is that a worry also that this itself could be a long-term plan?
I really hope it's not very long-term plan, and I really hope that Finance Minister is also reading economic survey, because economic survey has clearly stated, though on a different line, economic survey has clearly stated out that even when it comes to companies, and I'm slightly digressing, is that senior management spends a lot of time coordinating with the regulators and government authority, then increasing productivity, which means they are saying implementation is not good. And I really wish that doesn't happen here, because otherwise all these things lose its charm. I mean, if you're going to take 2, 3, 4 years before you kind of get into implementation, it has no value. I probably feel it will be a step-by-step process. There will be some development. Also, last time he didn't have enough time. After the election, he straight away came in. So probably now there will be time, and there will be at least some development in this financial year, and then we will see enhancement. But I don't think it will be like 2, 3 years no development at all. We will see something at least soon.
Okay, so then can we expect a soon or an imminent move even on the debt management system that he has announced? I mean, it's a welcome move to deepen the debt market for sure, but how soon do you expect changes, and what kind of a system will this prove to be?
So whether debt market will straight away go to retail level or not, I'm not too sure, and to that extent will the retail investor be really benefiting. But there was this announcement many years ago to kind of bring entire debt market onto platform, and still it has not happened. So if we have that kind of debt market, a mature debt market, then a retail investor can also participate. It's just that as of today, most of the debt market trades are happening between institutions. So to encourage retail participant to go and invest, we need to see how it comes. But if it happens, there's another market which is needed, because for senior citizens, regular income, all these tax-free bonds which he's talking about, those getting listed, deals happening. If it happens, it's brilliant.
So let's see how things move on all these fronts, but we need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about an asset class that all Indians love, that's gold. So we'll tell you how the new gold monetization scheme is going to affect you. Stay tuned, we'll be back in just a bit.